What's up, people? You're listening to another episode of Don't Miss This Podcast with Sammy B. No, I can't burp.
Wow, and Jackie D.
That was weak shit, my dude.
No, that was. I felt a good one coming, and I didn't. I let the people down.
Yeah, that was your fault for not having a beer.
That's true. I drank tea. I don't drink tea.
Look at it, British, like a little floppy Brit, limey bastard.
What's wrong with the tea and the Brits, huh?
I don't know. I'm third generation. My great grandfather emigrated to this great country from that.
Maybe you should be first generation and tell us how it feels, huh? Drink tea. Makes you healthy. Browns your teeth.
So does beer.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, I feel like I'd fit in over there because of English breakfasts.
Yeah.
And, the fact that it's socially acceptable to have a pint with it.
Of course. Always have a pint in your hand. Pint of beer, pint of tea, pint of ale.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything English people
I know,
do.
but that's what we do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, what did I miss in your week, Jackie D?
You know, man, it's been a fairly uneventful week. Very, very simple, standard week. What I did, did the thing where I go to the job. I did that for a little while.
The jobberoo.
The jobberoo, yeah. The jobberoo where I trained the kangaroo. And and then I went to the DaVinci Museum exhibit for my parents' anniversary. That was pretty rad. I broke some things.
Nice.
Definitely
really?
Should not have touched them.
You actually did?
I did.
What happened?
There was, they were like makeshift versions of the things he sketched in his journals, right? And there was like one point, I remember this, because there was a certain, like, when I go to these exhibits at the museum, I always go in like, okay, I'm an adult. This is how I always started, like college too.
Now, is this the art museum or the nature and science?
Nature and science. And I went in, I haven't been there in a hot minute.
I went there recently, and it was the exhibit before this, but the place is smaller because I'm so much bigger because we were kids really when we went.
I went so much when I was a toddler, and that place was so big, and now it's like.
Well, like the Hall of Dinosaur Bones and shit is just like, well, this is smaller than I remember. It used to be like a massive cataclysmic fucking adventure going in there.
Yeah, it was like that was your day, seeing the dinosaurs. And now I got through there in about 3 minutes.
Yep. That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah. So I what I really want to do is I want to get stoned and go to the museum. That seems fun.
Drop some eddies.
Exactly. There we go. That was what we'll do next week.
That was the thing that pissed me off about the Hall of Dinosaurs was they took out that video that they played before. I love that video where they went through how the Earth was formed. That was cool.
And there's no more sitting anymore.
Nope.
Which is a real bummer. I always like to sit down for a minute, catch my breath. Nope, you just got to start walking.
Yeah. And the kids in that place.
So many children.
Were there many in the DaVinci thing? Because
no,
I only ran into trouble in the space area. Barely fucked with it. You know, me and Anjani went and saw the Black Hole movie with Liam Neeson narrating. It's always a classic.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It's a classic.
Are they still playing that?
Yep.
Nice.
100%.
Cool. I love it.
I remember seeing it with you and your mom for the first time, and it was like in the kayak, like they were doing the example of a black hole being like waterfall, and a guy who was like kayaking away from the waterfall.
So scary.
It was so scary.
So scary. And
but the planetarium's smaller because we're bigger now, so it was just kind of like it wasn't that big of a deal. But I've also seen that thing like 4 or 5 times.
That is true. It's one of those we could just...
And in the minerals area, goddamn, you can't go through there. It's like bumper cars in there, man. And all the little kids just running around with no parents.
It's way too tight now.
Way too tight.
And then,
But the DaVinci one didn't have very many kids, so that's good.
Yeah, the DaVinci one was nice. It was cool. He's an interesting guy. He's actually pretty motivational. You know, he's got some good insights, and him being like a scientist and an artist. You know, is pretty rad.
Inventor, all that.
Yeah, but
he was where the term Renaissance man came from.
Quite literally, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and he. The thing about it is I go into it's like whenever I would start a quarter in college, I would be like, I'm going to read everything. I'm going to read everything. I'm going to get the most of this experience. Yeah. And then by halfway through night 1, I'd be like, nah, this is bullshit. It's boring.
That's how a museum exhibit goes.
Quite frankly. And I got straight A's.
I'm going to read every single plaque, every single thing in here, and then you get like halfway through the first room and it's just too much.
Yeah,
too much.
Sammy B, I couldn't get through the lobby. And so I decided at that point, I was like, all right. Well, I'm gonna have to. This is cool. This is interesting. Like, I look at the stuff that's dope, but like, I'm gonna have to find some form of entertainment in here. I'm gonna fall asleep on a bench.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I'm just gonna like talk to strangers and like see, but like just quick things. Like, I'm gonna try and make them laugh, or just end up making them very uncomfortable, and it worked very well.
Well, you only are the one to benefit.
Exactly.
It's a win-win situation.
There's no stakes for me in this situation.
Unless, like, one of them decided to grab you by the collar and throw you into the display case.
Yeah. I'd like to see him try. Like Thanos throwing the fucking collector into the goddamn thing.
Yeah.
That would be me, throwing them in there. And so the first...
Magnificent!
He looks so weird. Anyway, we'll talk about that when we talk about Avengers. But... So the first one that came out to me was like a dude roaming in a fucking Renaissance outfit, and he came up to me, and I was like looking at one of DaVinci's like cannons because he designed a lot of weapons, and I'm like looking at it. It's like this cannon with like 10 barrels. It's like crazy. It's like the first Gatling gun kind of thing.
Right.
And he comes up to me. He's like, yes. 'Tis a dangerous thing to have to operate to reload. It is dangerous from behind. I'm like, and also from the front. And I just, I just left him in front of the cabinet. I was like, I hate this man. And
his jaw, he's picking it off the ground. He's not expecting that.
I was like, dude, you dick. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for fucking Renaissance festival time. You know? Do you even work here, or you just wander? Do you just wander and talk to people? Uh-huh. And then I broke something. I broke like a kind of. It wasn't a pulley. It was more like a conveyor belt. And I don't know how to describe it. But anyway, this dude was standing behind me, and we could touch this one, of course. Yeah. And he clearly really wanted to try it after me, and I just about tore the belt off the loop. No, I did actually. I straight up tore it off, and you could just hear him go. And I looked at him. I was like. It wasn't me, and I just walked away.
Nice.
And upon further reflection and advice from friends, I should have just looked at him dead in the eye and been like, I meant to do that, and then just walked away. And then the last one.
This is why you don't let people like me in here.
I'm a danger.
This is your fault.
I'm a danger to history. Is what I am.
Jack, I can see you being in the Louvre and knocking over Mona Lisa, even though it's heavily guarded and distant. You could knock it over. And, like, you know, bust a corner. I
really kept making people mad at Mona Lisa because I kept looking at it and saying, I don't get it. Just constantly. People would be reading, and they just hear me next to them go, I don't get it. I genuinely don't, too. That comes from a very truthful place. The pop star song Mona Lisa speaks to me on a very real level. I don't. Mona Lisa. You're an overrated piece of shit. I don't get it. You know, I don't understand why this is such a big deal, but whatever.
It's because it was the first one, and I think it's because of that slight smile. There's never been a smile painted before.
I don't fucking know. I mean, the first painting, maybe? I don't know. And then...
I mean, like the first painted smile, yeah. I don't fucking know. Either. I just know that it is.
It's like, if it was that easy to make history in the Renaissance, I'm going to time travel, and I'm just going to put, like, the laughing, crying emoji face on a painting, and I'm going to become, legendary, is what I'm going to do.
But that, now that time travel doesn't work that way. The past becomes your new future.
If I've learned anything from movies and TV time travel, it's that I can do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Oh, it's because nobody knows.
Exactly. The implications
I
are
really liked the logic of the Avengers one because it makes it a lot less stressful that people don't fade away if they don't get their parents together like it's Back to the Future. That's a lot less stressful.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Nebula can kill her past self, no problem.
We already had way too much fading earlier in the Avengers. We can't deal with any
do more
of that.
fading.
We got plenty of that in Infinity War. Couldn't handle another moment in Endgame. And so then my favorite at the DaVinci exhibit was the anatomical man, like the drawing,
with the arms all pointed.
Yeah. And I was looking at that, and I was pretty interested in it, and like I'm watching this video about it, and they're talking about the proportions of the face, and it was like your forehead, your like nose to the top, to your brow, and then your mouth and your chin should all be about a third. Like those should be about a third of your face, and then your hand should be as big as your head. And I put my hand up to my head, and Sam, as you can see, my forehead sticks clearly out. And I just turned to the lady next to me. I said, "Nope, I'm insecure. I'm leaving this place." And she went, and I was like, "Go on,
boy, man, that's true comedian right there.
Exactly,
that's true comedian right there. You're finding the jokes to make these people happy."
It was good. It was
good. If we were sitting closer right now, when you put your hand up in front of your face, I would have slapped you right into your own face.
That's why we sit at a table now. Other than that, let's think. Sunday was a fun day. Saw some cool people, hung out, didn't do anything too crazy. Watched the thing we're going to talk about here in a second, and now we're back to training kangaroos.
Yeah.
So Sammy B,
all right,
tell me about
Indiana.
Yeah, tell me about your weekend.
Okay, well, I was in Indianapolis, Indiana, out there visiting my mom and family and stuff. But because back in February for my birthday, my mom had gotten me tickets to go see The Who live in concert.
Who are you? Who make owl noises, as you said.
Yeah. I love how I did that.
Because
it's like, if I'm going to record this concert, because it's a massive concert, it's a monumental concert. If I'm going to record this concert and post it, I'm going to feel like such a hypocrite for all the people that I shit on for posting concerts and stuff. I'm like, what if I sound so disingenuous, like I'm not an actual fan? And that was part of the concert that was tickling me, was figuring out how to caption these things. So it's like, Who Are You was the first one. I did Who Are You with owl noises after it. And then they did Behind Blue Eyes, another classic.
Sure.
And I said, "Man, that song Bad Man, Sad Man really cuts me deep."
Bad Man, Sad Man.
I love in The Office when Michael's listening to it, he's like, "No one knows what it's like to be the bad man, the sad man, behind blue eyes." Dwight's like, "God damn it."
Just shaking his head.
Oh my god. But,
oh my god.
What else was there? I'm like, oh my god, it's the theme song from CSI Miami. Won't Get Fooled Again. And probably the jig was up when I said like, oh, you can't forget. Who could forget about Gloves Reign Over Me? Or Love Reign O'er Me.
Yeah.
I added the V where they took it out. And then Bob O'Reilly, of course, I said was Teenage Wasteland. But that whole concert.
Yeah, tell me.
Was phenomenal, man. And I mean, like, we were sitting on the grass, which, it's like in the same kind of proportion distance as Fiddler's Green grass area. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty far away, but we had the screens. Not bad. I actually kind of like it better that way.
Yeah.
I just to see the proof that they were on the stage, even though they were small, that's good enough. I'll watch it like it's a concert documentary film.
Boom.
That's fine.
100%.
That's fine. I like it. Actually, I like it a lot. But dude, Roger Daltrey and Pete Townsend are fucking killing it. I mean, the original members, the other two, John Entwistle and Keith Moon, died long time ago in the 70s. And but those were the last two, and they had their own solo careers and stuff, but that doesn't mean that the Who broke up or anything. So they performed at the Super Bowl halftime show in 2012 when the Patriots lost.
Yeah, I remember one of the best days of my life.
Yeah, no, it was on my birthday. I thought it was going to be the greatest day of my life. I go and it's my birthday. Mm-hmm. The Patriots are in the Super Bowl. The Who is playing the halftime show.
The first Avengers trailer was released.
That was
the Super Bowl spot.
Yeah, that was the first Super Bowl Avengers trailer. It was the greatest day. And then they had like a Clint Eastwood commercial also, which that adds to mine. It was a wonderful game until they fucking lost.
Oh, I thought that was the best part of the game.
Well, yeah, of course you did.
Go Giants. Bleed blue for life.
Wow.
Yeah, Eli.
You're really going to sit there and say that. You're going to say that with a straight face. You're committing. Wow. I can't believe that, Jack.
Yeah. I'm a Giants.
You've been a closeted Giants fan this whole time, and you're just waiting to tell me now?
Yeah.
So you think the David Tyree catch is legit?
Oh, 100%. No doubt. No doubt in my mind.
I'm going to have to reevaluate our friendship. But anyway.
We didn't need Odell. Anyway.
Odell, fuck you. Well, just a little background on my relationship with The Who is, like, they've been one of my favorite bands of all time since, like, middle school, which, is always, like, middle school and high school is always, like, a very integral time in a person's life. That's when they really develop their taste in music, and they need it too for their development. But I got caught wind of the Who because I was really into Tenacious D at the time, and I chose Jack Black to do a biography on for my English class, and which I killed it.
Nice.
I know so much about Jack Black, man.
I understand.
But in it, he said that he loved Tommy. He was obsessed with the album Tommy. And I'm like, hey, I have that album. I'm going to check it out. And I put it in, and it fucking blew my fucking brain out, man. It is an amazing album. You ought to check it out. It's what's called a rock opera, and they were the first ones to do it, where it's an album that tells a narrative.
Oh, cool.
It's a story throughout the entire... It's a double album, too. But it tells a story about this kid named Tommy who witnesses... depending on either you're watching the movie or the album, which the movie starred the Who, or at least Roger Daltrey playing Tommy, and they fucked up so much of their own story.
Yeah.
I was really kind of disappointed by the movie. But it's about this kid who sees either his father get murdered or his father murder his mom's new lover after he'd been missing for years in World War I. And... he comes back, finds the mom with the new guy, and either the new guy kills him or he kills the new guy. But either way, Tommy sees it, and the trauma's so bad that he goes blind, deaf, and dumb.
Oh, damn.
So he's doing that the whole time, and then he's got, that's where the song Pinball Wizard came from. He's got some, attraction to mirrors, because he can see himself, but he can't really see anything else. But over the course of the story, he gets better and becomes a Messiah-type character. It's a very, very interesting story. You should check it out. But they started off that concert with it, and... going into this, because I have really distanced myself from music a little bit, just taking a break, and, I've been just focusing on listening to podcasts, and I don't know what's up with me with that, but when my mom gave me this gift, first I was like, oh, nice, The Who, and then I was just kind of thinking about it. I'm like, man, I got into The Who so young that's like kid shit to me now. Then they came out on stage, and the first note of the overture they played for Tommy, I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm back there, man.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? How dare I have that attitude coming into this shit? It is unreal what the kind of... Because they're up there with, the Beatles, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, as these seminal bands, and every single song they played was a super mega fucking hit, man.
Yeah.
And I knew it all. Because, the last concert that we went to that I knew the most stuff was that Kid Cudi concert. Except his energy was so fucking off that it actually wasn't that great of a concert.
And he didn't play any of his songs. He played 4 of his good songs.
Yeah, and then played his
ones.
new album, which is a punk album, and it sucked.
Yeah.
And then he got off stage and canceled the tour.
Yeah, went into rehab.
Yeah, went into rehab, canceled the tour, and I'm just like, man, you were my favorite artist.
Yeah.
He still is.
What was he, an hour and a half late to the show?
Yeah, dude, he was late, and then the show was lame. His energy was off, but The Who comes out there, 74 and 75 years old, these guys are. And they get out there. Yeah, exactly. Shut the fuck up. But Roger Daltrey, for 75, he's jacked, dude.
Yeah.
He's working out. They're staying tight, and Pete Townsend was up there doing the fucking pinwheel and stuff.
You gotta
Wasn't going to do the power slide. That's off limits for old man knees, Yeah, and also they did. Yeah, he just goes because he did that during "Won't Get Fooled Again" when Daltrey goes, "Yeah!" What if he did that? Just he goes, "Yeah!" Oh no!
Oh no! Guys, help!
Medics, please come here! But it was just a fucking amazing concert, man. I couldn't, I was over the fucking moon, and I knew, almost every song, except for a couple of them, and it was great. And this whole time I was there, I was thinking, shit. Because Indiana's pretty strict on weed. So I wasn't going to be able to smoke any weed until I hung out with my uncle on Sunday. So I was just like, all right, well, I'll just get drunk for the concert. And, I had a pretty good buzz going, and then this guy, and his wife came up in front of us, and then he sparked up a joint, immediately, offered it to her. She said no, and then he just kind of looked around, looked at me, nodded, and he passed me the joint, and we split the joint. I'm like, oh my God, that's super fucking convenient.
Way to do it,
Way
man.
to take this concert to the next level, man. And he came up and he yapped in my ear about shit, but I didn't care. I was actually focused more on the music, and I'd respond when he needed me to respond.
You got to pay for the hit.
Exactly. Yeah. I was paying my due to split that joint.
That's right.
And it was fine, and the concert was great, even better from that moment on.
Nice.
And, my mom didn't mind. That was pretty cool. And then, the concert's going and going, and, we're out of... we had a couple of shooters that we snuck in with us, and we were getting towards the bottom of it, and I'm like, well, okay, this concert, I don't know how long it's going to go. Then all of a sudden, the dude came back with more weed.
Oh, okay, good man. Good
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it was like
man.
this weed fairy floating around, and he's just like, yeah, what's the point of bringing this whole pocket of joints if I can't spread the love? So I guess he's been going around the whole concert getting people high, and I'm like, this man's a good man.
That's who I want to be, man.
Yeah.
That's who I want to
be. Even though he was just chatty and yappy and talking about his own shit, I mean, like, we're at a concert, man. What are you doing here? I was fine with it. But it was just like, no fucking way. He came back at the perfect time for me to get, like, a recharge on my high.
You're just coming out, you're coming back up, or coming back down, and then he's just like, I got you. I sensed it.
Yep, and he just came in clutch, and I'm just like, wow, that was a hell of a fucking concert experience,
Dr. Green Thumb. Dr. Green Thumb was real.
Yeah, Dr. Green Thumb at the Whom.
Yes, at the Whom.
The Whom.
I love it. It sounds like fun, man.
Yeah, it was a great concert. But earlier that day, we went to Indianapolis Motor Speedway to watch qualifications for the Indy 500, which was interesting. I mean, I don't really give too much of a flying fuck about racing.
What do you think of cars, Sam?
I mean, they drive.
Just in general.
They drive.
Where do they drive to?
Point B.
Got it.
Unless it's a racetrack, in which case point A and point B are the same thing, because they're going round and round and round and round and round. But anyway, getting to see, because they would just qualify by doing the average of 4 laps of the speed, and it would just only be one person at a time. So it was kind of cool to actually get a feeling of what it's like real life to see a car flying by you at 230 fucking miles an hour.
Sure.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And they're racing 500 miles. So not 500 laps, it's like a little bit over 200. But, it's going around, and, like, the 230 mile an hour, that's kind of like, well, that's the top. So the average would be 220 to 230. So in that range. And just seeing that, they just go, and then a few seconds later, they're coming around that 4th turn, and it's just like, Jesus, they're fucking fast as shit, because they're Formula 1 cars.
True.
And, we saw one guy crash, and it looked like Iron Man 2.
Really?
Yeah. Like, the end, like, he slammed into the wall, the end, like, back end flipped up, and he was, like, perpendicular to the ground. But these cars are fucking crazy. They are designed to have pieces break off in sequence to absorb impact and protect the driver. And also, as it goes, it has its way to balance itself out. So he was like perpendicular to the ground, and then the car self-corrected, so he would land with the bottom of the car down. And also, they have these systems inside them that if fire breaks out in them, they fucking put the fires out. Because it's like they have ideas of where the fires tend to break out, and they have, like, I would compare it to like Tony's suit with that mist that you sprayed at Ant-Man.
Right.
Having that coolant or whatever. It has that kind of shit going on. And it's just like, the dude was fine. They go and they clear the car off. I get him to the medical tent and everything. Then they get him out of the medical tent. They're interviewing him. He's like, oh, man, yeah, that's just like, it sucked. And I'm like,
lost
dude,
control.
You were going 230 miles an hour and you slammed into a wall, motherfucker. How are you not just like up there just shaking? Oh, my God, I almost died. Like, this guy was so cool. And I mean, like, I get it. To be in the sport, you had to have your fair share of crashes. I mean, as with anything, practice and failure and whatnot. So, I mean, but also, these people are fucking lunatics. Yeah. If that level of adrenaline, he probably was just like, that's exactly the high I needed today. I feel great.
Yeah. And then he just got more and more high.
Yeah.
He just kept getting more high.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that adrenaline, man. I just get,
you hear that, Indiana? You can't stop legalization. It may be illegal there, but people are still finding a way.
Oh, yeah, my uncle. He's a big proponent.
Boom!
But while I was there was this kid. That was the last kid that we saw before he left. And he was one of the fastest average. I think his time kind of set him back. just based on where he was in the track on the turns, kind of affected his time.
What grade in school do you think he was?
Oh, he just graduated high school. He was 19 years old, man.
Damn.
Yeah, he was 19 years old, and he placed in the top 9.
Damn. Okay,
Yeah,
good for him.
he was in number 7. I'm like, 19 years old? He's been driving for 3 years, man.
Yeah.
How do you train that? Because, I mean, his dad was kind of like race car, so it's like a Mario Andretti kind of deal where it's like...
Oh, this is Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s kid, right?
No. But that's the same kind of situation.
Yeah,
I forgot about the Earnhardts.
He's the only race car driver I know. The only one.
What about Tony Stewart, who ran over the guy and killed him?
No, I didn't know about this man.
Yeah, this fucking Tony Stewart guy, he did all these commercials and stuff. He actually kind of looked like Sal Vicano from Impractical Jokers.
Okay,
a little bit
sure.
like him. But this guy, he was doing like this like dirt off-road rally car racing, and somebody crashed their car, and they were trying to get across the track, and he just came flying through and crushed the guy, killed him. It was pretty fucking wild.
Yikes.
Yeah, and I can't remember if I think he got, court and everything, and
Yeah.
I don't know what the verdict was, but he fucking killed a guy.
Dude, I know more names from the Pixar movie Cars than I do about anything from NASCAR.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that movie is more important.
It's a good movie.
Lightning
Especially-
McQueen.
Yeah.
Chick Hicks.
Tomater. Sure. Doc.
Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his actor died and they couldn't bring him back.
Paul Newman, yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Paul. Don't worry, I poured out my...
But that was the thing that was great about that place was, besides the $9 beers, or at least, no,
Yeah.
they were $7. So it'd be like a can of Miller Lite or Coors Light would be $7, and it's like, bruh, are you fucking me right now? A 16-ounce can? I could buy 6 of these for $7.
Boy, sporting events suck.
Oh, any kind of event like that.
Yeah.
And
I remember at Cheyenne Frontier Days, they charged me $5 for an Aquafina bottle of water.
what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Well, I got charged
Five.
$15 for each beer that I buy at the Who. So
Yeah.
2 Michelob Ultras. I mean, they were tall boys, so it'd be 2 beers. So I guess that's $7 per beer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's just wild how the markup goes, and people will pay it. I paid it, but it's because that's the only thing you're saddled up with.
Yeah, because you can't really...
And that's how the venue makes money.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's why those guys get paid so damn much as food. Yeah.
Yep. But they had Bloody Marys there. I got a couple Bloody Marys. That was good.
Nice.
It was good. But when I got back to my seat, I just started looking around, and I'm just like, man, these are really not my favorite kind of white people in this crowd. Just not my favorite kind of white people.
You saw one too many Confederate tattoos.
No,
and
it
you were
wasn't.
like-
It wasn't quite that. It was just there was an absurd and inappropriate amount of very, very out of shape white guys with their shirts off.
Nice.
Just sitting in the sun with their shirts off. With like aggressively gross dad bods, and their skin was so tan that it looked like they were all made of leather.
Have you watched the show Our Planet yet on Netflix, like the
No.
new Planet Earth?
No.
There's a scene at the end of the second episode where there's this just, and this is how I picture this race car speedway. There is an island that is literally like filled with 3 layers of walruses, and that's what I see this place being like.
Not bad, not far off.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
a lot of them had shirts. Almost all of them had baseball caps.
I just want to be sure. And so do the walruses.
Well, that was the thing too about Indiana Motor Speedway that my mom didn't know. It's like you could bring coolers with beer in there. You could bring your own beer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, you can do that on race day too, except they have like size restrictions at race days. But we could have brought our own shit. I didn't have to spend $18 on 2 Bloody Marys.
Yeah. Didn't have to. But you
Didn't
did.
have to, but I did. I would like a Bloody Mary.
Damn, no.
And we saw Avengers Endgame. I took her to see it after I made her watch Infinity War. That was pretty good. But then...
Did you try and assassinate Andrew Luck like you were telling me we were going to do?
Shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
No, we didn't go near Lucas Oil Stadium. You keep that down on fucking download.
Gotcha.
Now it's on recorded.
Next time. Sorry.
damn it, Chad.
Hey, Andrew Luck. We're coming for you, buddy.
And it's not because he's a great player. I love him as a player. It's because he's biting my neckbeard style.
That's right. He
I had to keep trimming my neckline for years and years, and it's like, no, you know what? Andrew's taking my look.
That's right.
I'm not taking his look. I'm over it.
Yeah, no, Andrew, you've had your time. It's time for 7B to rock the neckbeard.
It's my turn.
It's your turn.
It's my destiny.
That's what you're doing right now.
And this is destiny fulfilled. Then on Sunday, I went over to my uncle's house, and I'd only had bacon and eggs, and very shortly before we went there, and he breaks out this really nice Don Julio tequila, and we were just drinking the shit out of tequila. My uncle is in his 70s. He parties hard, dude. He fucking parties. He's pulling out at one hitter and just toking up, blasting music. We're playing pool and stuff. You know, he's teaching me a lot of stuff, and I actually learned a lot of stuff. I bet I could beat everyone's ass now.
Yeah, I'm horrific at
But
pool.
he's just like, he's slamming shots of this fucking tequila, and I'm trying to keep up. But it was so good that I didn't need a chaser or anything.
Nice.
And like, this is the best tequila I've ever had. And you know me, I'm not a good tequila guy.
No, I don't like it.
I don't care for the buzz because it just makes me like more energetic. It doesn't make me feel drunk as much as just like, you know, it doesn't feel like much until you fall fucking on your face.
Yeah.
You know, and it just creeps up on you.
And it's kind of like that, the period between the first shot and when you fall on your face, you don't remember that middle part.
Right.
But clearly
it
some
just
time
happened.
has passed.
But you were pretty cognizant, so you didn't do anything stupid between those two periods until, blam, you're on your ass.
Yeah, exactly.
But then he broke out another fancy bottle of tequila. It's like, we killed probably a bottle, maybe more between us. I don't know how much was in that Don Julio. Then we got the El Mayor out. And after a while, it started to dawn on me. I'm like, holy shit, I've only had bacon and eggs today. And a bag of chips, like a little bag of chips that my aunt left for me. And I'm like, Jesus, I haven't thrown up from drinking in so long. Nice. And that was the time. And it was just like, good thing he has the music cranked up so fucking loud that you can't hear me. And then the sound cuts out because my mom called us up for dinner. Right when I go, I'm like, fuck! No. And then I started drinking. I switched over to beer. I keep taking shots here and there and stuff. And then my aunt's like, okay, you can stay for Game of Thrones, because that was the premiere. And I'm like, cool, because I've never actually watched it live. But she's like, you got to be conscious and get a lift. And I'm like, okay, well, that's never been a problem for me.
Yeah.
And then we watched Game of Thrones. I got a good remix of Game of Thrones for you, pal.
Let's hear it.
I got a good one.
Well, you pull that up. That reminds me of the story of the. It wasn't the first time I took kratom, but I took too much one time, and we're gonna watch the UFC fight. It was when Khabib fought McGregor. And my friend gave me some kratom when I got to his house, and I drank it because I ain't no bitch. And then I was really feeling good. Like, I was like, wow, this is just like the most relaxed, but I'm like energetic. I'm not like stoned. I'm just like chilling. I feel good. And then I don't remember if he gave me a little bit more or if he just really started to pick up, because once we got to the house we were going to watch the fight at, I got out of the car and I'm like, I'm going to throw up in the next 15 minutes. For sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, I'm holding it. The lady that was hosting us gave me a LaCroix, which was cool. And I started drinking it, but it was so cold and just like weird tasting. I was just like, yep, this is going to be the one. So I was like, I'm going to go pee really quick. Stood up, went to the bathroom, threw up 3 times. Nobody knew.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I was a champ.
I love being the puke ninja sometimes.
And the bathroom was very close to the living room. I was
nice.
Yeah,
So what'd you do? Restrain your noises, or
it was just so liquidy, the vomit, that it kind of just sounded like my piss hit the water really hard. When that happens, yeah. So I was like, nice, because I didn't know what was going to come up.
Right.
Luckily, it was just Niagara waterfall.
Exactly.
Let's hear it.
But now we're on to the subject of this week. And that was Jack Black.
I saw that yesterday. I watched it, and I couldn't stop thinking. There were people all throughout Los Angeles or wherever he was.
Seeing Jack Black doing that shit.
Just in different shirts, pulling out swords, just like maybe hearing him sing. But to make that video, he had to go to like that beach. He had to go, Game of Thrones. Okay, we got to get to the mall now.
Yeah, we got to get to the mall.
Game of Thrones. Okay, we got to go back to the beach.
But anyway, yeah. Game of Thrones has officially ended, and the internet is on fire.
It's been on
with
fire
hot
this whole
takes.
season.
Yeah, this whole season has been polarizing, to say it lightly.
It's true, which is probably what they wanted, you know?
Well, yeah, but, like, here's the thing, just right out the gate that I want to say to all these haters out there, is that I've seen an absurd amount of stuff that they're saying it's rushed, and that D&D, rushed it, they were lazy writers and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, there's no way... Well, first of all, calling it lazy writing when it's actually produced, that's an oxymoron. Mm-hmm. That's a fucking oxymoron, because it takes a lot of goddamn work. And to take the, work to end this show that is, far and wide, massive, biggest show in ever, probably. Mm-hmm. And to end it in a way that satisfies everyone?
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Yeah,
nobody was going to be happy with this last season.
Yeah. And that's something that maybe
not everyone was going to be happy with this last season. I was very happy with everything.
Stoked, yeah, I mean, it's just it's storytelling. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. There's no lazy, there's no successful. It just is the story that they wanted to tell. Clearly,
right.
And it's like,
and they wrote ahead of the books. George R.R. Martin hasn't even finished it, so they had to come up with the ending.
Exactly.
I'm sure. Well, I actually looked at this thing afterwards about how much of it was George R.R. Martin's input and stuff, and a fair amount of it was. Mm-hmm. I think the brand stuff was planned because that's totally a move that George R.R. Martin would do.
Oh, sure.
But, the controversy behind it is just like, guys, enjoy that it happened in the first place. Exactly. You want to talk about a show that has shitty fucking ending? Dexter. Yeah. That was rough. I was pissed, and I knew it was coming. Yeah. And, people brought up how disappointing the ending of Seinfeld was, and I'm like, no, that was perfect for their characters. That's how I felt about this one, was it was perfect for their characters. Yeah. And the story told.
People are thinking of this as a plot-based story, and it's a character-based
It's
story.
A character-driven story.
We got to think, like, this whole thing started with the Starks, and it ended with the Starks.
Exactly.
That's been the point of this entire thing. I've stayed off the internet. Like, I don't know. I'm just not that active on it, so I don't really know what people are saying.
I keep getting myself riled up. I need to stop.
It's okay, because I need to know what people are saying so that I can prove them wrong.
So, like, the ones that is just like, oh, so Jon being a Targaryen for fucking nothing. Daenerys having all this stuff for fucking nothing. Bran being the three-eyed raven for fucking nothing. The Night King and the Dead was for fucking nothing. All of this stuff was for fucking nothing. I'm like, well, you clearly weren't paying attention to the fucking show, asshole.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention at all. Because that's the thing. Everybody's like freaking out about Dany. It's like, this was always Dany's plan. Yeah. You hear her talking to the Dothraki. Like, yeah, she's adorable. She's sway. Amelia Clarke. Oh, wife. I love her. Mm-hmm. And she kills it, and she's amazing. Why are we surprised when she gets to Westeros and everybody fucking hates her because she's a Targaryen, and she's a Targaryen, which we've set up for 6-7 seasons now, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, they've been an inbred family that has a touch of madness. Yeah. And the thing is about, okay, we can go through each character. I feel like that'd be a good way to go about this discussion.
I like
Let's start with Dany. So Dany's whole thing was she started this whole fucking series being told that Westeros will love her and welcome her and all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And she's been liberating all these slaves and the Unsullied and doing all these great things. However, how she did it was through murder.
Yeah, she crucified
all the Lords of Meereen and the slave guys that she burns up. She locked that one guy in the vault with the chick that betrayed her, and
she's killed so many people by dragonfire.
Yeah, and Samwell and his brother and father. Mm-hmm. Like, she fucking never took prisoners. She's always been vicious. Fire and blood has always been her promise. Mm-hmm.
So, and we love it because it's all bad guys, quote unquote. Yeah. We're seeing, which is why. I went. Sorry for interrupting. No, I actually like the more, especially the beginning of this last episode, like watching Dany, especially when she's giving that like speech.
That speech where she looked like fucking Hitler.
Literally.
I don't know. She looked like Hitler's a little harsh. She looked like Donald Gleason in Star Wars Force Awakens when they were about to fire Starkiller Base.
She looked fucking
scary. And then that shot with the dragon wings coming up behind her, that was fucking cool.
Which, like, one, I mean, for Emilia Clarke's got to be the funnest transition to play. I mean, that's got to be you gotta, when you see that that's the direction they're gonna go, you gotta sink your teeth into it. You know,
Right.
you're like, this is great.
Yeah,
you know?
and she was dressed in all black, and she, even for the whole Siege of King's Landing.
Yeah, and she that's the thing. Like, she is somebody who is ruthless and killer, and to see her, it's all about perspective. This has always been about perspective, and we really, really learned at the end of this, we were always going through pretty much Tyrion and Jon's perspective.
Right. And
you know,
in that scene with Tyrion and Jon talking to each other, Tyrion laid it out. And if people weren't paying attention because they were still so pissed about what Dany did last week, and pissed at the writers and stuff like that, that's another thing. I've seen so many reviews on IMDb that are just 1 stars. It's like, dear D&D, do us a favor and never write anything again. Oh my God, they're gonna fuck up Star Wars. I'm like, it's already been fucked up.
Yeah, Last Jedi pretty much boom.
Yeah, it really put the seal on that.
I don't care what anybody says.
Exactly, it's such a bad fucking movie, man.
It's not even like it's just.
It was terrible storytelling. That whole arc with Finn and Rose didn't need to happen. It was just bad storytelling.
It's like we got to talk about this one later.
Yeah.
We can't talk about this right now.
But that was just the comparison I'm drawing.
Right.
But
that was on me. I was sorry.
The whole scene with Tyrion and Jon, and Tyrion laid it out. That's what she did. She murdered all these people, and because they were evil men, it was okay.
Yeah.
But the more that people built her up and made her feel like she was doing right and all this stuff, it became more and more in her head that she can do no wrong.
Exactly.
And when she gets to Westeros, after all this time of being told that they're going to adore her, she's fucking hated, feared, and everything. And when she gets to King's Landing, because Cersei made it personal, she decided to kill all those fucking people because they made their choice. They were on Cersei's side, and it's like, that's not the case. And like, these people are victims of the interpersonal war that's been petty shit that's been going on between these monarchs trying to play the Game of Thrones. Yeah. And they're the ones who have to suffer from it, and she made them suffer for it. It's
the coolest shit because Dany ends up being the bad guy of the show. Right? And it's the coolest thing because everybody says a villain is just a hero of their own story. George R.R. Martin, that's like, that was the first quote I heard from him. That's like his whole thing.
Well, I mean,
Cersei is actually a fairly empathetic character when you see her with her kids. I mean, Joffrey and Ramsay are kind of two exceptions.
Well, even when she dies. But that's the thing, too. People were pissed that, they should have tortured her. They should have made an example of it. It's like, if you think about Cersei's character and what she'd been through, her entire drive has always been fame, power, glory, be a spectacle that people look up to be buried with Jaime, and nobody knows or gives a shit. That's really the perfect death for her.
Yeah, Cersei's legacy is gone.
Exactly. And that's what she deserved.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if she was put up in front like she did with Missandei and cut her head off, she would be an icon.
Yeah.
That would be the death that she wanted, was to have people look at her and just feel like famous.
And it's like that was one of the worst things she did. She's just kind of like, she's just so sneaky and bitchy, like you hate her. But like, I don't know, I'm like thinking back, the worst thing she really did was blow up the High Septum, you know?
Yeah.
That was like the worst physical thing like Ramsay and Joffrey, infinitely worse in every way. Cersei was just kind of always just that thorn in your side, you know? And when she blew up the High Septum, did you guys want the fucking High Septum to keep being a story arc?
Yeah, the Sparrow.
Yeah, the Sparrow. Get them out.
That was that. And
I'm glad.
Honestly, Arya in
Bravos.
Yeah. I really didn't care for that with the waif and Jack and Hagar.
But it needed to happen. That's the thing. These things
absolutely did. Yeah. But she only really used it once to kill Walder Frey.
I know. Yeah. She just got really good at killing.
That's the one thing I see on the internet that I'm like, okay, that's fair. Yeah. They had her trained up and all this stuff to only kill Walder Frey and the Night King.
Yeah, the Hound probably did more for her than fucking Bravos did.
Right, exactly.
The Faceless Men. But yeah, no, I think coming back to it, seeing Dany be just the ultimate example of the villain is the hero of their own story. Yeah. It's so true. If you can't empathize...
Infinity War is Thanos' story. He's the protagonist of that movie.
It's hard for me to root against Thanos in Endgame,
right?
Because I fell in love with that character,
right?
And like, that's the thing. Like, you don't want to love a villain, but if you understand a villain, you can beat them a lot easier. You know, which is why John is able to. Because...
Well, and it came to the head with that talk they were having,
right?
When it was leading up, and she was talking, and he's getting on her about what she did, committing genocide and whatnot, and she's just like, well, Cersei was using their innocence against me and stuff like that, and he's just like, she's like, but it's all good, and I'm going to keep going around spreading the good and stuff like that, and he's just like, well, what about all those other people who think they're doing good?
Yeah.
And she says, well, they don't have a choice, and that's when he made the final decision to kill her, because Jon, of all people, knows that from being with the wildlings after being at war with them for so long, that's what they're, everybody who's fighting for anything, the opinion of themselves is that they're right and they're doing good.
Yes.
No one intentionally does anything evil to
That's
do
the
anything
point of the
evil
show.
except for like Ramsay
or
Joffrey.
Think about today. Think about, and even like Ramsay and Joffrey, in their own relative minds, think they're doing good because they're just selfish. Like they're selfish psychopaths.
Yeah.
So they for them, they're having fun.
Right.
You know? And never agreeing with anything they do, but like, yeah, that's their jam. That's what they do. So then going back to Danny, well, into today, you look at the people we're fighting, right? Like, Russia legitimately thinks we're the bad guy.
Oh, yeah. The Middle East, we're fucking villains.
The Middle East thinks that we are the devil.
They think we're like the Empire in Star Wars, basically.
And it's like, you know, it's all about where you stand. And quite frankly, you know, Danny's way of doing things was literally going to be wipe the dry erase board, clean it all off.
If somebody doesn't agree with her, they're fucking burned.
Pretty much bring
no
everybody...
due process, no compromise, none of that shit.
Exactly.
And because she tried, she's never going to try again because it ended up with Missandei getting executed.
Right.
She tried.
She did.
And she's like, well, nope. Yeah. That's what happens when we don't do it my way.
Yep.
So,
because and then you think about Missandei and Grey Worm and Jorah and all these people that have followed her and advised her. They're outcasts, they're slaves, they've been tortured and brutalized. And she's like, I got your back. I'll save you. And while maybe, you know, a handful of people did these things to these people, and rightfully so. Like, Danny's arc has always been there's been a lot of pathos to it.
Yes.
It's been very fun to follow. And she loses every single advisor that's important to her, other than Grey Worm, the most violent person in the world.
Oh my
it turns
God.
out, because that's his thing too. That's
how he was born to be a weapon.
He's introduced as a super soldier. You know, like he's introduced like this guy will do anything you want, whatever. You know, cut their nipples off. It's cool. You know.
Yep.
And to be surprised that this happened is one thing. I was very surprised and tense the whole time.
Yeah.
To be upset,
that's another.
I mean, it just means
selfish stuff.
Yeah, it means you're removed from reality. It means you don't understand how this works.
And you want it to go your way.
Yeah.
This has to end the way I want it to.
Yeah,
it's like that's not how life works, and that's not how this entire show has worked ever. If anybody had it their way back in season 3, Rob wouldn't have died.
Yeah,
Rob wouldn't have. The Red Wedding would not have happened.
Yeah,
Rob would be sitting on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
If they got what they wanted.
It's like, let's look at this and let's look at Lord of the Rings. Let's say Lord of the Rings is very intentional. They are evil. Like
they are literally crawling out of the mud.
These are monsters. Yeah. This is a race of monsters that wants us dead, and nothing else.
There's no way you could see their side of the story.
Exactly. And the only reason Saruman joins them is because he's scared.
He's
that
terrified.
He doesn't want to die.
He's hedging his bets. He wants to be on the winning team.
And all you got to do is drop this ring and fire, and the world's okay.
Right.
That's not what Game of Thrones is. It's in the title. It's a Game of Thrones. It's a political show. Right. No matter who gets it, good, whether Cersei, Jon, Danny, whoever got that throne, there was going to be pros and there was going to be cons. There were no flawless characters in this show. Yeah.
And the thing that I found the most interesting
because if Jon had gotten it, he would have been apathetic to the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
he would have been a terrible king.
And he would have been like, I murdered the love of my life for this.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and Like, that made it so, when Drogon melted the Iron Throne, that was perfect, because that's what needed to happen. It's the breaking the wheel that she said that she wanted to break.
Yeah. This show was pretty much to say that democracy is the way to go.
Well, that's the whole thing that I was thinking, was, people wanted one of them to win, and I'm like, do you really want that to be the case, that these monarchs who get into these personal wars that involve all these people that are at their mercy, who don't have any say in the matter, you want that to keep going?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
No. So, Jon gets captured and stuff, and they go and they bring Tyrion out of the cell, and they have that whole summit with all the lords of Westeros, which it totally knocked my socks off, seeing the kid from, what was that? The Sky place.
Oh, yeah.
The Sky Gate. Him all grown up.
The Veil, yeah.
Yeah, the Veil. Because, last time you saw him, he was sucking on Mammy's titty.
Yeah, he's so annoying.
The people were posting memes about him and Tormund, and it's like, this is what happens when you drink mother's milk. And, but anyway, they have that whole thing, and I really, really loved what they did with that, was establish some form of a democracy.
Yeah.
Where it's like... Because right away, Sansa had to be a bitch and just be like, well, his dick doesn't work when they picked Bran.
Sansa I screamed when I saw it, that when she wanted to be an independent state. I get why she wanted to do it.
Yeah,
it's cool
just
that Bran let her.
Jesus, let it go, lady.
She's like, brother, you'll be a great leader, but the North will remain independent. I'm like, a Stark is on the throne. What do you mean?
What more do you want?
Just because you're not? Is that really? Because then Sansa's just kind of a stuck-up.
She has been trying to sit on some kind of throne the whole time.
Yeah, I don't want to call Sansa a bitch because I love Sansa. Like I had to pull myself. I was like, she's not there, but like, come on.
It's like, what more do you want?
Yeah. Like, what?
But I love, because I forgot that Samwell was the Lord of the Tarleys now.
Right.
And because of all the oaths he's broken and how fucked up shit got, doesn't matter anymore. He's going to be the Lord.
Well, and I love how Sam had that little thing where he's like, we should let the people vote. And everyone's like, nah, fuck
Yeah,
that.
they laugh in his fucking face. And he's just like, well, everyone.
Because then it made me believe that the writers stayed true to the show.
Yeah.
That's the moment.
The Lords weren't going to give it up the power.
That's the moment where I was like, D&D had a plan here.
Yeah, and so when Sansa's like, oh, Bran can't have kids, he's just like, good.
Yeah.
Because kids of kings suck.
Yeah.
So every time...
You should know.
Yeah, you should know. It's like... And so every time a king passes away, we all collect as all the lords of Westeros, and we elect a new one.
Boom.
And I'm like, fuck yeah, that's the way this should have ended.
Yeah.
And Bran was... That whole speech that Tyrion gave about stories, I felt that.
Yeah.
Because it's true. That is the one thing that unites people universally is a good story. Mm-hmm. And he's just like... Who's got a better story than Bran the Broken? I'm like, well, Jon Snow, but he's kind of out of the question.
Yeah, but Bran knows all the stories.
Exactly. That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
So because he knows all the stories, all the history,
the Night
he has
King
that
went
omniscience.
for him first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I had part of it.
Yeah.
Part to do with it.
So I wish Tyrion would have said it, I kind of wish he would have,
Yeah, but it's because he's got all this history in his brain and this omniscience that he has that he can go back and, well, he's despondent. He doesn't have any emotional ties. He doesn't have beef with anybody. Mm-hmm. He has all this history, so he can govern the people and be able to literally look back at the mistakes that prior monarchs have made and adjust to it and make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
And he'll rule fair. He'll rule just. Best choice. Mm-hmm. Best choice. Yeah. I didn't see it coming, but best choice.
I loved his line. He's like, why do you think I came all this way?
Well, that was the thing.
I was like, drop the fucking
mic.
But
he said that, but last season, he's like, oh, I can't be the Lord of Winterfell. I'm the Three-Eyed Raven now. He's like, but I can be King of Westeros.
That was the whole goal.
He was holding out for a better offer.
Exactly.
He was waiting for a better contract to come across his table from another agent.
It was like Bran got an offer to play for the fucking Cincinnati Bengals. It was like, hey, we'll make you the starting QB. He's like, nah. And then about a year later, the fucking, I don't know, the Patriots came and were like, hey, Tom Brady's retiring. You're in.
Like, what do you think I've been waiting for?
I love it. So, Dany, it's fine. Like, it's cool, people. Like, it's the way it needed to go.
It's the way it needed to go.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Drogon's not dead.
No,
and I did
Drogon's
like
Jon.
that thing that with Bran being like, and Drogon is like, I saw him flying east, but we can't find him. He's like, maybe I can give it a try.
Yeah.
Wheel me out, Pod.
I got this. Yeah, right.
Sir Podrick.
Sir Podrick of the Kingsguard.
Yes.
Let's go on to our man
Jonathan Snow.
Oh, I was going to say Tyrion, but because I was going to save the
Oh, well,
because
Tyrion. Okay, yeah.
Or the Starks.
Yeah, you're right. Tyrion.
I'm so glad he didn't die.
Me fucking too.
Very, very glad. I think, Tyrion, he's changed so much to this show. He has and he hasn't. And it's beautiful how he's done. Because he's always stayed himself, but he's consistently grown.
He's growing.
Which is a beautiful thing. Yeah. And to see him being the one to stand up to Dany, it made all the sense in the world. It was cool to see him cry over Jaime and Cersei,
right.
hard, even though,
The thing I thought was weird the second time I watched it, there's not nearly enough rubble in that dungeon.
No, I was like...
For the way they had it set up that, the walls were, the halls were crushing in behind them, and then it was just a windfall of bricks. And he just picked up, 2 or 3 and found their faces.
Yeah, they were laying on top of
the rubble.
Yeah.
And then it was walking in, there's a whole empty area. So it's like if they were 3 feet to the left, they would have been fine.
It literally looked like they went down there, found a pile of rubble, and were like, well, we're not getting out of here. Let's fuck one more time.
Yeah.
Had sex, and then
on
the rock
top of
fell
the
on
rubble.
both of their heads.
Yeah. 2 bricks to the temple. Put them out.
Yeah. And they just died mid-sex scene. Which would be a great way for them to go.
Speaking of set design mishaps, Samuel Tarly has a fucking plastic water bottle by his leg in one of the shots. That's 2 times they've done that. They did the Starbucks coffee cup next to Dany and then the water bottle next to Sam.
They're lucky it's the last season.
It's the last season.
Nobody can get fired now.
Yeah.
Unless there's some senior
But also,
editor at HBO.
I'm sure there's plenty of other movies that have these kinds of mishaps happening. And I feel like now it's going to be a game for nerds to go through frame by frame of all 73 episodes and try and find shit that the set designers or cast have left on the set.
Yeah. It's a very hard show to produce. And we're going to clearly see in this documentary that's coming out.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
May 26th.
And going back to Tyrion, it's just
I thought it was funny that he got saddled with being the hand. He's like,
I know.
Fuck, I didn't want it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've been the hand of the queen. It sucks. I've been the hand of Joffrey.
Yeah.
He's been the hand so many times, and he fucking hates it.
Yeah, he hates being the hand. I love how, he's the one that fixes everything, and Bran even is he's made a lot of mistakes. Fuck him. He's going to fix them.
He's going to fix them.
Yeah. And you're just well...
and Grey Worm's just
yeah. Grey Worm was pretty much just
Now here's the thing. So, they wouldn't give up Jon, but Bran demands they give up Tyrion. But Jon's still in the off limits. They won't let it go. But when it's finally reached that compromise... He just gets on the ship with the whole Unsullied, and they go to...
They leave. Yeah, they go to Marine. Or not to Marine, where Missandre's from.
Yeah. Melisande. Or no, Missandei. Jesus, yeah, I fucked it. They have too many characters that have similar names.
Yes.
Literally, Yara, her name was Asha, and they didn't want to do that because of OSHA.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just George, what are you doing, man?
Come on,
I mean,
George,
it's probably easy to keep track of when you're reading the books, because you could literally see the difference in the names, but...
Yeah. In the show. But, you know what I did love was the new High Council.
Me too.
So my favorite scene.
Braun walking in, that was great. And then they all just start dragging the chairs out, and Tyrion's
yeah.
just set them.
I love, okay, so it's Braun, Davos, Tyrion, Sam, Brienne, and then Bran.
Yeah, because Sam is now a maester, even though he's broken all the oaths.
All the oaths. This, and nothing will get done with Braun there.
Oh no,
he was a mistake.
He was just I'd say we put some money towards the brothels, huh? And then Brienne's I think the ships are a little bit, but I love how they would refer to themselves as their titles and stuff. But it was people were really pissed off because it's oh, now it's all boring. And I'm That's what democracy and governing is supposed to be. It's supposed to be fucking boring.
And I didn't think it was boring because it was like these were just these characters,
and we followed that. We know all the characters. We know they were all being themselves.
And to see these guys, to see these characters come out okay and successful and grown and change. Yeah, put up with a boring scene, which wasn't a boring scene either. It was a great scene because that is a group of characters you don't get to see ever interact. You know, that was just fun. I loved it. Yeah,
I love the part where Braun's just like, well, we wouldn't have no more money, and then fucking Davos corrects him. He's just like, yeah. He's just like, anymore. I'm like, Davos started this show as an illiterate, and now he's correcting grammar. That is full character fulfillment.
Well, and speaking of full character fulfillment, I mean, Tyrion ends his last line in the show is that great joke. I once walked into a brothel with
a donkey and a honeycomb.
With a jackass
and a honeycomb.
Yeah, it's a great joke.
And he said that before, but it's just like, that was him. But I love the way he said it. It was just like,
he's like,
I've told this story so many times to so many women to try and bed them as just like a joke, and he's just like matured so much, but he still has that in his pocket. So the way he delivered it was different. He's like, I once brought a jackass and a honeycomb into a brothel,
and he gets his people. You know,
Yep.
He gets that this is going to be the way to get Bronn to interact with Davos and blah blah blah. It's beautiful.
It was a great scene.
Well wrapped.
Fucking great scene.
You want to talk about the Starks?
Now onto the Starks. So they agreed to allow Jon to live if he was in the Night's Watch.
That was hilarious.
And I thought that was great because I was just thinking about it, chewing it over in my head, that it's like a poetic reflection of how he started the show. Started the show.
You know, a quick thing about Dany. Sorry, I just thought of it.
Go.
She did end up breaking the wheel. You might have said that a second ago, but like she did. Not that she
was alive to see it, and
but like the reason
the ruler.
Yeah, the reason she existed is she. That's why it's so cool.
She accomplished her goal.
Yeah, when Drogon flies off with her and just kind of disappears for the rest of ever, that's awesome because that's pretty much what Dany was the last thing that needed to happen in Westeros to break the wheel, but she wanted to be a monarch. The thing is, like, Bran's a monarch, but like it's not a matter of family anymore.
Oh, it's all about the people because he has no ego.
Exactly,
he has no ego. He can't sire any children. He is the most perfect choice because he's so impartial and so pragmatic.
Because what would have happened is if Dany had done what she wanted to do, then she would have become a dictator over all these people.
Basically.
And if you didn't live in peace, quote unquote,
they would have been turned to ash.
And then somebody would have found out about what she did to make that happen, and there would have been a problem.
Right.
It's exactly what happened.
Well, and how could she get the people of King's Landing behind her after what she did?
Exactly. She
really only her people. Her people were the Unsullied and the Dothraki. That's all she had left.
Yeah, and there were not that many of them.
No.
Enough, but not that many.
More than I thought after the Battle of Winterfell. I thought, oh, well, there go the Dothraki.
Exactly.
And then they come flying through in the Siege of King's Landing, and then there were even more when they were cheering in that speech she was giving.
Was there just like a chunk of Dothraki that just took the day off for the Battle of Winterfell?
Keep in reserves, I guess. I don't fucking know, man. Like,
anyway, Starks.
So the Starks... Jon, he gets to keep his life, but he has to go be part of the Night's Watch.
But not really.
No?
He's going to be the King of the North!
Yes.
Like the North.
North, yeah. But that's the thing that I thought was pretty interesting was, he's like, is there even a Night's Watch? And then Tyrion's like, well, there's always got to be a place for bastards and broken men. And it's like the first real interaction they had was when Tyrion went to the Wall with them.
Talked about pissing off the wall, too.
Yeah.
It was a really beautiful moment.
Yeah.
It's really great. Like, it's just awesome.
Because they did start the show together and finished it together. I really enjoyed that scene. And then
every dwarf is a bastard in their father's eyes.
Exactly. Yep. That was a really touching scene.
Never forget who you are, Jon Snow. What does he say? Never forget who you are. Let it be an armor to protect you.
What I was saying was for Jon.
I wanted to quote it, but I fucked up.
You did, but it's okay. But what I was going to say about Jon is that it's like a poetic reflection of where he started the show because he voluntarily went to the Wall because he was a bastard, nameless, who couldn't have land or lordship or take a wife or anything like that properly. So he had no chance. So he went into the one place where he thought he could have some kind of a purpose and, do something meaningful. And then now he goes up there. He's forced up there as Aegon Targaryen, heir to the Iron Throne.
Yep.
That is poetic reflection. That is some great fucking writing. Fuck you haters for saying that it's lazy writing. That is goddamn great.
Yeah, these people have no interest in character. They only are interested in plot, because they want things to end the way they should, not the way they could.
Happy ending.
And then another thing is, like, everybody has all these fan theories and stuff like that, which are cool, but, like, again, did you want the Night King to take it? Like,
right.
Everybody's so upset that the Night King...
That's a lot of things I've seen on Twitter is just like, geez, if it's going to end that way, then the dead should have won. And I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You clown.
Yeah, buffoonery.
And I'm not trying to gaslight anybody who was disappointed. I understand disappointment. But the people who are upset and are signing this bullshit fucking petition to get it reshot and remade and stuff like that. People did that for Last Jedi. And yeah, we were upset with Last Jedi, but we're not going to sign a petition. We're not going to have them fucking put in resources to make a movie that makes everybody happy.
Guys, Band-Aids don't fix stories. Stop!
Yes. Very well put, my man.
Band-Aid solutions. The world doesn't just get fixed if you cry enough. Stop being toddlers.
If you want it to end the way you want, go make a movie yourself.
Exactly.
And because if you're the writer, you can end it any goddamn way you fucking please.
Yeah. This was D&D's show. They made the show.
And
you're lucky you got it.
Exactly. We're lucky we had it. And for them to be called lazy or rushed,
disrespectful.
They've spent 10 or more years, ever since these books started coming out, adapting this thing. This is their life's work. There's no way that they're going to end it and just be like, oh, fuck, let's just get it over with. Like, no fucking way. Are you kidding me? Anyway, but... So Jon...
Got me heated.
Jon's freed, and they go, and he meets with the Starks for one last time. And I thought that was a pretty great moment. With him and Sansa are still kind of distant.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they always were. I mean,
that dynamic was.
Now they don't. They're really not. They're cousins. They're cousins. Yeah. That's the term.
Yeah.
They're cousins. At best, and
right.
Worst. Or beforehand, he was her bastard brother. Like she's like, hey, thanks for killing her. But that's just who Sansa is. Yeah. Sansa's just cold. Like, that's just Sansa. Sansa has been betrayed and raped and fucking nearly died.
Oh, she's had
times.
She's been the victim.
You guys try and be woke and positive after going through Sansa's story.
Right. The thing that got me about that was that when Tyrion came in, that Sansa and Arya were very, very much trying to fight for Jon's freedom.
Yeah.
But Grey Worm wasn't having it. But here's the thing that I was getting back to with the Grey Worm leaving, is that who's going to enforce Jon's sentence?
Yeah, exactly.
He could just come back down and just be like, what's up, guys?
How you doing? That Grey Worm guy, you sail wet? Cool.
Yeah, he's not here. He's not here. Nobody's going to snitch on me.
Exactly.
Because if they do and send a raven, we got the three-eyed raven to turn it back.
Literally.
Who's going to enforce this sentence other than Jon?
Our king can mind control a dragon, if he can find it.
Yeah, that's the thing about Grey Worm leaving. I'm just like, well, then how's he going to actually know?
Yeah.
It's one guy in a continent.
Exactly. That one, I think...
Is it going to just keep, like, a couple of Unsullied monitoring him? No, because that didn't happen.
And the thing about Jon going north that's great is Jon just throughout, it's been confirmed.
Him and the Wildlings.
But it's just been confirmed all throughout, and I think this is why everybody loves Jon, is he's such an anomaly in this world. Jon is a person we should all try and live up to be,
Right.
And
well, you got the same personality type as him.
I don't even be braggadocious about it, but
okay.
But he, that in this world was just not something he was interested in. The wildling world is cool for him because it's free. He doesn't have to do the right thing by society. Well, he can do the right thing for himself now.
Because he's kind of like Captain America, because he's had to just put everything in front of him, and he's been fighting the whole time. And now he can kind of actually kick back and relax. Because if he was king, he would still have to keep fighting.
And now there's like
maybe not
no
physically
more threats in Westeros.
Exactly.
The Night King's dead, Cersei's
And so
dead,
he's
Dany's dead.
bringing the wildlings up further north to reestablish their own home and land and everything and get them started back up. And there's, peace between them.
Yeah. And everybody who was complaining about Ghost, suck it!
Yeah. I didn't realize Ghost lost an ear in Winterfell.
Yeah, I didn't either. It was cool when I was watching with my group of people because at first I was like, "Oh, Ghost's ear," and everybody thought I was just like, "Oh, I remembered how I forgot."
I totally had forgotten.
Yeah, I didn't know he lost an ear.
Yeah. And he pet him so that people can chill out. He was petted.
I yelled at the group. I was like, "They reshot this last week."
I'm sure of it because people were pissed about him, and it's just like, excuse me.
Quit being stupid.
People are stupid.
That's all I have to say.
And I hate Twitter for giving them a platform.
Exactly.
And Twitter stories for making things that aren't stories. Yeah,
exactly.
It's ridiculous.
And even though we got to wrap up here kind of quick, let's talk about Arya right quick.
Arya, she said that she's going to sail west of Westeros.
Which I think I think the whole thing is a flat Earth, and she's going to fall off.
Oh, I've seen that theory, but also I think she's going to run into Middle Earth.
That's what I was hoping when she said it. I was like, what if, though?
What if?
I knew about that before I ever considered watching Game of Thrones. I knew potentially on the other side of the world it's Middle Earth. Would that be rad?
That would be so rad. She goes there and she's just like, whoa, what's this?
In that fucking Amazon version of Lord of the Rings they're making, Arya shows up. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, Arya's opening shot. Yeah. Arya Stark walks off the boat in Middle Earth.
In the Shire.
In the Shire.
She's like, this is where I came to?
They're all tiny.
Where's Tyrion?
Wow, Tyrion would feel very at home with these people. Maybe get some boots on him. Maybe clean it up a little bit, but...
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I love it. No, I'm happy for her. Once she killed the Night King and pretty much was like, yeah, I'm not going to kill Cersei, then Arya pretty much became a vehicle,
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Because she'd been fueled by so much vengeance and wanting to kill people and losing those opportunities, I felt was sobering for her.
Yeah.
She got Walder Frey, which that was much deserved. I'm glad she did. And the Night King was just circumstance. And
exactly.
It was lucky that she was there. But also I thought it was fucking hilarious because Bran kind of knew that it was going to happen. And he let Theon take the fucking blow.
He was like, Theon, nah. Yeah.
Like, you're a good man.
You're a good man. Exactly. But I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was
a great ending.
I appreciate it even more after this conversation.
Me too.
And I'm going to continue to avoid these people that seem to ruin the one of the few things that people still find joy in.
Why can't people enjoy things?
Well, it's not even like you can have your opinion. You can be upset and all that.
You can, but we're not trying to gaslight you. But why do you have to make us who do like it feel like idiots?
Why take this from us?
And also, why do you have to go after the writers for something that you felt?
Yeah, something that you felt.
That's totally selfish and totally unwarranted. And I feel like for stuff like this, when it is this big and people do have this much emotional investment in it, really take a step back and realize that you're lucky to have had it in the first place and to have felt those emotions. And
you don't have to watch these things, by the way.
Right. Yeah. And for Dave and Dan to do what they did and write it the way they wrote it, they directed the last episode I just saw today. Yeah. So I thought that was even more deliberate on their part. And so for them to put it all cherry on top, sugar-coated fucking ending would actually kind of do the story and the characters a disservice as a whole because they've never promised us a happy ending at any point in time in this series.
No.
And, to play it safe is compromising themselves, and they wouldn't have started a democracy, which is what needs to have happened.
Yeah.
And for them, they made the ballsy, unsafe choice. Yeah. And it's the most interesting choice because it's going to be talked about for years and years and years to come.
Yeah.
What they decided. Me too.
To my grave.
Me too.
I thought it was great.
Because, say if they, in our opinion, botched Endgame, the way they ended Endgame, which they didn't. That was the most perfect ending to any movie I've ever seen.
That was like a bow tie ending.
That
was great.
It tied it up in a nice, neat little package.
Yeah. We will be doing that soon.
Yes. One of my bosses was like, I don't think I need to see another Marvel movie. I'm like, you don't really need to.
No.
But I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sold. But, if they, in our eyes, botched it, it would have been for a reason. And for us to be like, yeah, it's a bow tie ending. That's all we have to say about it.
Yeah.
It opens dialogue, debate, and stuff like that, instead of just being like, yeah, that was pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah. It's
because that's all you could say about it.
You can't end a show on a twist, and you also can't end it pretty flowers after you killed your main character in the first season.
Right.
You can't. You
right.
can't do it. That's not what they wanted to do.
And they did it right. I think they nailed it, and I'm happy that we got it. That we got to see Game of Thrones.
Me too. Hey, DB and David, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Take two randos in Colorado's opinion as much as you want, but thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Exactly. And on that note, I think we can go ahead and call it on this week's episode of Don't Miss This podcast with Sam Butler and Jack Anderson. Yeah. You can find me on social media at It's Butler Time.
Mm-hmm. And you can find me at JackieD62 and on Instagram, and probably going to get a Twitter.
I guess that's one thing from last week we should say is what are we going to do next week so that people can prep if they want to do it. I think we could do Barry. We could do Barry. I think since that's still pretty fresh. That is pretty fresh. We could do Barry. I think we should do a comedy soon. I agree. Tropic Barry Thunder is a comedy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's do Barry. Here we go. Let's do Barry, and then next film, Tropic Thunder. Boom. Let's do that. Keep it classic. All right. Love it. All right, man. Hey, see y'all next week. Thanks for listening. Love you guys. Bye.